I appreciate the kind words of endorsement. We shall see how it all progresses. I mean, I'm good. You know, I guess it. Yeah, I know. Just be me and be authentic. I'm just saying, like, it's not like a podcast. You know, it seems to me like there's moderators. They're gonna ask questions, and then it's just Q and A. I wouldn't really call it a debate with the guy. I feel like we're just. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, believe me, dude. Who do you think you're talking to here? I record myself 80 hours a week. Oh man, I wish you were going. I wish you were going because, man, I need somebody to film me. Or maybe they'll let me set up a tripod. I'll just bring a tripod. Well, I guess I'm gonna bring like two tripods, and I'm talking to you now on my Meta glasses at the moment, and I'm gonna with Meta glasses you can create 3 minute clips. So I'm gonna pop my glasses on during my responses and just film everybody in the audience. These Meta glasses are amazing, man. For 300 bucks, like, but I saw that Timu has like glasses that are like 50 bucks. It's the same shit. 3 minute clips or whenever you want to stop it. It uploads it right to your phone, and then you just upload it to Instagram or to YouTube. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, yeah, it's unlimited. I mean, I bought them from Apt ABT. Dude, just get these Meta Wayfarers with the clear lenses, unless you want transitions, because you can wear them as everyday glasses. They look okay, but uh, people know when you're recording because there's a light around the camera that pulses. But I saw there's these little plastic things you can put on to it covers up the fact that it looks like a camera, and so you could be a little more surreptitious. Hidden. Also, if you go to the casino, you play craps or something, it would be dope to like record your craps game. Ha! Yeah, blackjack secrets. Where? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Dude, so anyways, how's your dad doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Well, if you're single now and you're ready to mingle, let's go to a Jewish singles event. Or go to the Chabad singles events. Ah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to a Muslim event. I might meet a chick in a burqa tonight. Should I greet them all with Assalamu alaikum? Wasalam, Assalamu alaikum and Wasalam alaikum. Dude, this Jewish guy last night on Clubhouse was reading the Quran all night long from like 6, 7, 8 hours. He read the whole thing, and man, the Muslims just kept coming in the room and saying, "I can't, you are really pissing me off." And I was just like, "Isn't it amazing? You have somebody reading their favorite book, and all they do is get angry." I was like, maybe there's like an emotional intelligence problem with Muslims, and they kicked me out of the room like 3, 4 times, and it was just like it was amazing. It was so funny because he was reading it in all these different like impersonations. He read it like a Hindu. He read it like a dorky Jewish guy. He read it like some Muslim caliphate warlord. Like he's an actor, and so it was just very funny to listen to. A lot of repetition, a lot of going to heaven and getting big breasted women. Like there's 33% of it is just repeat. It's just duplicate. In the book? No, it's not like it's I would call it the poetry of a Bedouin. Um, you know, it's very rudimentary. It's a very That's why I say 33% of it is duped. It's just repeat. So it's like it's Muhammad's poetry, and it's not intelligent because it doesn't really deal with higher consciousness or higher self. It's all very much like when you die you go to heaven type of information, meaning that like it's crazy what they say because they make the claim that it's the religion of all religions. Absolutely, and I've reported them to Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, and they haven't kicked their doors in yet. I'm just waiting for them to kick their doors in. We know where they live. Well, he's out running laps with the new FBI recruits, a bunch of overweight women, who apparently are going to do law enforcement now in the United States. It's like, it's technically a paramilitary organization, and they pick through the garbage and then they arrest criminals, but at what expense? And like, anyways, I saw their stats and like what they've accomplished in terms of arrests and prosecutions and amount of assets seized. Um, Dude, there's lots of criminals, former employees that if they haven't already been charged, they need to be. I mean, what is Pam Bondi like? What's the actual record of Pam Bondi? Like, what is her actual arrest? Like, what's her whole worksheet look like from start to finish? I mean, what has she actually accomplished? DOJ and Florida. Who's that? Oh, I see. They're like the moral police. Yeah. Dude, people on X go so hard with regards to Epstein and Charlie Kirk and Mossad and Israeli intelligence, and it's fucking deranged, man. It's like there's no personal responsibility. Yeah, it's total JDS. It's it's really sick, and it's pathetic because every social audio live room is the same as every other room. It's just a question of your time, what they're talking about, and how often they do it. Because if that's all you think about and all you talk about, and that's your That's your intelligence. There's just no intelligence there, man. I'm telling you, like that's why Toira is always the winner. Well, LaHood has hundreds of thousands of dollars in APAC money, and that's why he voted no on the discharge petition. But even if, see, you know what's going to happen is there. Yeah, the U.S. military industrial complex completely is allowing the Jays to get scapegoated. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, fucking deranged, man. That is so fucking crazy. Turns out what you say matters. is the night to the sleepless. Long is the road to the weary traveler. Long is the cycle of rebirths to the universe. Long is the cycle of rebirths to the unwise, who do not know the truth. Should a traveler fail to find a companion equal or better, rather than suffer the company of a fool, he should resolutely walk alone. I have children, I have wealth, these are empty claims of an unwise man. If he cannot call himself his own, how can he then claim children and wealth as his own? To the extent that a fool knows his foolishness, he may be deemed wise. A man who considers himself wise is indeed a fool. A fool may associate with a wise man throughout his life and remain untouched by his wisdom, even as a spoon cannot taste the flavor of soup. On the other hand, an aware man in a moment's meeting can learn from a wise man, even as the tongue tastes the flavor of soup. The unwise man, lacking understanding, behaves as if he were his own worst enemy. Committing evil deeds that produce bitter fruit. It is unwise to do things that bring regret and require repentance, to cause suffering for oneself and a weeping and tearful face. It is wise to do things which do not require repentance, but bring joy and fulfillment, happiness and delight, until he feels the effect. The fool rejoices in his evil deed. When the action reaches fruition, the fool harvests nothing but grief. Though the fool may practice asceticism, eating a speck of food on the tip of a blade of grass, he is not worth 1/16 of the Arahant, the knower of the Dhamma. An evil deed does not produce its results at once. It smolders slowly, like a fire covered by ashes, and finally consumes its doer, the fool. The things a fool gains amount to nothing, and wholesome acts cannot bring him wholesome results. What a fool hungers for is false fame, authority,
Long is the road to the weary traveler.
power over others,
Long is the cycle
generous offerings.
of rebirths to the universe.
He seeks recognition as a doer,
Long is the cycle
wielder
of
of
rebirths
power,
to the unwise.
a knower of right and wrong. His craving and pride are insatiable. There is a path that leads to worldly gain. Another road leads to nirvana. Let the seeker, the disciple of Buddha, embracing seclusion, take the path to wisdom and enlightenment. Okay, this is called The Wise. This is chapter 6 of the Dhammapada. This is chapter 6 of the Dhammapada, known as The Wise. If someone sees an intelligent person who is skillfully able to point out shortcomings and give suitable reproof, let him cherish such a revealer of hidden treasures. Only good can come from such an association. Let the wise one guide, correct, and deter others from what is base and vile. He will be treasured by the good and spurned by the evil. Do not choose bad friends. Do not choose persons of low habits. Select good friends. Be discriminating. Choose the best. Whoever drinks deeply of Dhamma lives happily with a peaceful mind. The wise man rejoices in the Dhamma taught by the holy ones. Irrigators contain the flowing waters. Arrowsmiths fashion arrows. Carpenters shape wood to their design. Wise men mold their characters as a solid rock stands firm in the wind. Even so is a wise man unmoved by praise or blame, as a deep lake remains still and clear. So do wise men, listening to the teachings, attain a serene mind. The good certainly cling to nothing. They do not talk aimlessly, concerned with personal gains. The wise, the saintly, whether experiencing comfort or discomfort, show neither elation nor depression. Not for one's own or another's gain should one commit an evil deed, regardless of the desire for children, wealth, a kingdom, or any other kind of success. One should remain virtuous, wise, and righteous. The few cross over to the far shore. The many merely run back and forth fruitlessly along the side of the stream. But only those who follow the carefully taught law can cross to the other shore, beyond the grasp of death so hard to overcome. Let the wise man shun the cauldron of confusion and proceed on the path of light. Let him leave the comfort of home, forsaking sensual pleasures, freeing himself from all obstacles, delighting in seclusion. Not an ordinary man's choice.
6 of the Dhammapada, known as.
Let the wise man shun the cauldron of confusion and proceed on the path of light. Let him leave the comfort of home, forsaking sensual pleasures, freeing himself from all obstacles, delighting in seclusion, not an ordinary man's choice, and devote himself to cleansing the blemishes of the mind. Those who have carefully cultivated their minds in tune with the elements of enlightenment, who without grasping delight in detachment, cleansed of all corruption and therefore shining brightly, send forth brilliant light. This is called the Arahant. This is the 7th chapter of the Dhammapada, the sayings of the Buddha. There is no burning for him who has completed the journey, who is free of sorrows and all else, who has broken off all chains. The mindful put forth great effort. They do not remain content in the household life, but leave their homes behind, just as swans leave a muddy lake. Arahants do not hoard. They take a right view of eating, focused on deliverance and void. They leave no trace, like the path of birds in the sky. He who is free from obsessions, eating simply, clear-headed, and focused on liberation, like a migrating bird, leaves no trace of a track in the sky. Even the gods delight in the presence of one who has freed himself from pride and mental obsessions, who has his senses under his control, like horses trained by an expert trainer. Done with the round of rebirths, he is as accepting as the earth, as firm as a doorpost, placid as a pond, free of mud, dutiful. Whoever has reached a state of freedom through perfect wisdom, peaceful and unshakable, is non-violent in his mind, his speech, his action. Whoever is in touch with the infinite, free of attachment, desireless, is the highest among men. Delightful is the place where the saints dwell, be it village or forest, cavern or open field. Delightful are forests where more worldly men find no joy. Being free of the pull of desire, saints who seek no worldly pleasures find delight in such places. Chapter 8, Thousands. A single wise word, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 speeches full of empty words. A single verse full of meaning, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 verses full of empty words. One may recite 100 verses full of vain descriptions, but a single verse bringing peace to the listener is worth far more. One may conquer 1,000,000 men in a single battle, however the greatest and best warrior conquers himself.
Under the sayings of the Buddha.
There is no burning for him who has completed.
Is adding chicken broth to dog food actually dangerous?
So, Rob, what do you feed your dogs?
You know, I used to think that I was making my dog's kibble extra special by giving them a little added warm water. Here you go, buddy. Fancy meal upgrade. But I found out it is a huge mistake.
What? Why?
Well, first of all, you gotta know most kibble is only about 10% moisture. That's the same as raw pasta.
Ooh.
Yeah, before your dog can even digest it, their body has to break it down. So it has to pull water from somewhere else, their skin, even their joints.
Joints?
Yeah, and apparently dehydration can stress major organs like their kidneys and their liver, even if they're drinking plenty of water.
That's scary.
Especially because
Conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all. Neither a god, nor a heavenly musician, nor a mischievous angel are the highest of the 6 heavenly abodes. The Paranimita heaven, where sensual pleasures prevail, can deprive the self-vanquished, restrained person of victory. The honor paid to the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than monthly offerings of 1,000 pieces of gold. Honoring the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than living in the forest tending the sacred fire for 100 years. Making offerings for glory and recognition is not 1/4 as worthy as honoring the upright. Whoever shows reverence and respect for the aged is rewarded fourfold, with long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. Even a single day of a life lived virtuously and meditatively is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of a wise and contemplative man is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of one who puts out great effort is better than a life of 100 years lived in idleness and sluggishness. A single day's life lived by a man who grasps the impermanence of all conditioned things is worth more than 100 years lived in blindness and ignorance. A single day's life of one who sees the deathless state is worth more than 100 years lived without perceiving it. A single day's life of one who sees the truth is worth more than 100 years of not seeing the truth. Om. Chapter 9, Evil. Don't lose a moment of doing good. Protect your mind from evil. Whoever neglects doing good is inviting addiction to evil. If a man has mistakenly committed an evil deed, let him not repeat it. Let him not be addicted to evil, for it is the amassing of evil that brings misery. On the other hand, if a man does good, let him do it repeatedly. Let him put his heart into it, for the accumulation of good brings blessings. Even the evildoer feels happy before his negative actions reach fruition. However, when the evil ripens, he will have a bountiful harvest of evil results. Good man sees what is unwholesome before his good deeds reach fruition.
Neither a god, nor a heavenly musician, nor a mischievous angel.
Thy pleasure resemble all that surroundeth thee. Be thyself, and take thy pleasure among the living. This is that which is written, lurk, in the book of the law. Chapter 20. Samson. The universe is in equilibrium. Therefore he that is without it, though his force be but a feather, can overturn the universe. Be not caught within that web, O child of freedom. Be not entangled in the universal lie, O child of truth. Chapter 21. The Blind Webster. It is not necessary to understand. It is enough to adore. The God may be of clay. Adore him. He becomes God. We ignore what created us. We adore what we create. Let us create causes us to create is our true father and mother. We create in our own image, which is theirs. Nothing that is not God. Chapter 22. The Despot. The waiters of the best eating houses mock the whole world. They estimate every client at his proper value. This I know certainly, because they always treat me with profound respect. Thus they have flattered me into praising them thus publicly. Yet it is true, and they have this insight because they serve, and because they can have no personal interest in the affairs of those whom they serve. An absolute monarch would be absolutely wise and good, but no man is strong enough to have no interest. Therefore, the best king would be pure chance. It is pure chance that rules the universe. Therefore, and only therefore, life is good. Chapter 23. Skidoo. What man is at ease in his inn? Get out. Wide is the world and cold. Get out. Thou hast become an initiate. Get out. But thou canst not get out by the way thou camest in. The way out is the way. Get out, for out is love and wisdom and power. Get out. If thou hast tea already, first get you tea, then get O, and so at last get out. Chapter 24. The Hawk and the Blind Worm. This book would translate beyond reason into the words of reason. Explain thou snow to them of Andaman. The slaves of reason call this book abuse of language. They are right. Language was made for men to eat and drink, make love, do barter, die. The wealth of a language consists in its abstracts. The poorest tongues have wealth of concretes. Therefore have adepts praise silence. At least it does not mislead as speech does. Also, speech is a symptom of thought. Yet silence is but the negative side of truth. The positive side is beyond even silence. Nevertheless, one true God crieth really you, and the laughter of the death rattle is akin. Chapter 25. The Star Ruby. Facing east, in the center, draw deep, deep, deep thy breath, closing thy mouth with thy right forefinger, press against thy lower lip. Then, dashing down the hand with a great sweep back and out, expelling forcefully thy breath, cry, Apo Pantos Kakodemonos. With the same forefinger touch thy forehead, and say, Soy, thy member, and say, O Phale, thy right shoulder, and say, Iskoros, thy left shoulder, and say, Eucharistos. Then clasp thine hands, locking the fingers, and cry, I-A-O. Advance to the east. Imagine strongly a pentagram, right in thy forehead. Drawing the hands to the eyes, fling it forth, making the sign of Horus, and roar, Chaos! Retire thy